Well, we lost a great model builder and a good friend of mine. Even though, like other people were saying on their tributes to him, they never met him in person, but they heard his voice, they watched his videos, and that's Chris Cortel, better known as Classic Plastic 101. Chris, I may stumble a little bit. I'm trying to speak from the heart and don't have a script. I was in the military and I'm only about a year older than Chris. And like him, I grew up building models from the time I was a kid in junior high all the way through college until I left to enter the Army, and then moving around and then raising kids. I had to pack all that up. I then came back to the hobby probably in about 2012. It had been probably at least 30 years plus since I had done any modeling at all. And at that time, the modeling community on YouTube was really pretty small. There was some big names out there, and some guys are putting out some great videos. A couple of them you've seen their tributes to Chris. Atomic Dog, Brian, who's now something War Mutt or something. Right, Brian? Yeah. You and Mini Pup. Red Dragon, Gil, who's also changed the name of his station. Scale Model Customs. There was a guy named Dave Parker on there. And we all struggled with him with his addiction, and we haven't seen much of him lately. Steve Sutton over at SMKR, Scale Model Kit Review. HPI Guys Workshop, Chris. Chevy Cheeseburger. Big Eddie 1231. Tom at Colonel Reb Scale Models. CT Speed Shop, who then hooked up with Dr. Cranky, Virgil. And then there was Chris. So I learned a lot from watching Chris. And if I ever got bogged down, I could ask him a question with no judgment, no laughing, no ridicule. He would just, tell me what he's doing, how he learned to do it, etc. I remember, it's Chris and I, we had kind of a bond as soon as we started talking to each other through emails, and I had brought him Christmas cards, stuff like that. But being only a year older than him, we grew up watching the same shows, and we liked the same shows. The Thunderbirds, Speed Racer, Johnny Quest, all that kind of stuff. We were, we read Mad magazines. It was just like a brother I didn't have. And we had that connection. So when I started back in modeling, and I'm watching some of these YouTube channels, and they're talking about PE. And I'm going, PE? And I asked Chris, what is PE? I mean, the only PE I know is physical education. So he explained to me about photo etch. And I went, oh. And then I watched him and Chris Chapman start playing with craft acrylics. And I thought that was great. And I blame Chris on a lot of stuff. I blame him for the couple of thousand models I have in my garage. I have so many that are put together but unpainted or half put together, whatnot. And it's because of Chris. I blame Chris, and he used to laugh about that. I'd watch him. He was building the Stargate figures, and I had to have those because I had to watch him build and try to figure out how I was going to do it. And I have to let you in a secret. I used to buy some models and send them to Chris as gifts, and it was not being generous, it was being selfish because I wanted to see how he would put it together. So the latest one, and Chris and I were laughing about it, is the Cyclops that he was building right now. I had pre-ordered it back in August, and they kept delaying shipping it in November, December, and I finally just told the guy, give me my money back, and I ordered it off of Amazon, and I couldn't get a hold of Chris. I was trying to warn him not to buy one because I was trying to get him one for Christmas. And come to find out, he had changed his email address. That's why I didn't know how to get a hold of him. But then I finally did get a hold of him. And the kit he's actually building, he told me, is the one I had sent him. He's got the other one he bought down in his stash. And it made me happy that he was doing, using the kits that I bought him. And, I don't know what to say about the guy. I just talked to him. I think the 2nd of March when Renee put up there on Facebook that he needed prayers, and he told me, I talked to him for almost an hour. He was in his hospital bed. And we all know he had that wicked cough for like a month or so. You saw it on his videos, and he was starting to get better. Well, apparently Renee and him came down with COVID, and he had the respiratory version of it, so his cough started getting worse. But when I talked to him on the 2nd, it was a Thursday, he was feeling pretty good, and he was happy, and he was telling me that he was planning to be out of the hospital the next day. So when I read Mike's post that he had passed away, it took me as a shock. It really did. We just lost a giant in our community. And we have pictures of him, and I understand why he never showed his face on camera. And those of you that know him like I do is because of his cancer and his cancer surgeries. And he did not want to show his face on camera. And I it's fine. I like looking at his work and watching him work. I mean, using that cheap Pache airbrush, when the rest of us are buying $100, $200 airbrushes and not coming out with anywhere near as good a paint job as Chris is laying down. Just unbelievable. Learned how to use Pledge Floor Shine, to give that car body a great shine. There's so many tricks I learned from that guy. It's just unbelievable. So this is my tribute to him. It's from the heart. Renee and Mike and the rest of the Cortel clan, my deepest condolences and my prayers to your family for healing. He's going to be missed. He's going to be missed greatly. And he's going to be missed greatly by guys like me. All right. Thanks.